Greetings and good day, this is Donnie with Tech Winter, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well guys, I recently had the folks at AZDome reach out to me, asking me to test out their Dashcam M550. So today we're going to unbox it, going to show you the installation process and as much real-time footage as possible, along with all of the positives and potential drawbacks of this camera. So without any further ado, let's dive in and let's take a look. So guys, just diving right into that unboxing experience. As you can see here, the packaging on this is very good. Just first impressions opening up this package. I'm coming to the power supply itself. It's nice. It does have a USB port on it itself. And of course, this just plugs into a standard DC port on a car. And there's plenty of cable as well, so very easy to route in a way that can at least conceal the cabling itself. And just kind of out of the gate, one thing that I thought was a little bit odd, this is using USB Mini, which is an older standard, but still one that definitely works for providing power to this camera. Most cameras that I test these days are supporting either micro USB or USB-C, so it's just unusual to see this. A lot of cams have an option between the 3M adhesive or using a suction cup mount. This one only comes with the 3M mount, so it also does provide an additional 3M label there as well, so you do have the ability to mount this several times if you do lose stickiness over time. This camera also does come with a provided 64 gig card. That is a little bit on the small side, so I'll also put a link in the description if you want to check out like a 128 gig Samsung card that would work with this device as well. But folks, getting into that camera itself, the build quality on it is very good. Yes, it's plastic, but it does appear to be very durable, and the display itself, I absolutely love. Very impressed with the display on this. It does film at 2K. The resolution on that is 2560 by 1440. Not only did this packaging come with an additional 3M pad, but it also does have a wire pry tool you can use to tuck that wiring behind your dash. And in this configuration, it also has not only a camera that's pointed outside your windshield, one that's pointed into the car itself, but then also one that you can mount on the rear of your car as well and wire in. For the purposes of this testing, I did not install that third camera, but you 100% have that option. But guys, something that I kind of missed just in that initial unboxing as I was going through the actual installation process in the car itself, I do love this modular design. I want to point out some things that I appreciate about this. The camera itself, this is the camera that just faces into the car. I love that it has like an adjustable lens. So you can sit here and you can adjust this around to a position that makes the most sense for inside of your car. Super handy. And because it's so modular, I just appreciate how easy it is to plug that in, and it's totally attached and it's nice and secure, nice and stable there as well. There's also just a mount that is incredibly simple and just powerful magnets that hold this in place to the 3M mount that goes onto the windshield itself, which makes this very easy to remove if you're parked in an area where you might be concerned about theft. One thing of note there as well, this does have, as you can kind of see in the notes of the unboxing, just a very small battery in it that's just enough to retain like the time and date settings inside of it. This does not record if the camera is not receiving power. But going into just looking at some of this real-time footage of driving, as you can see here, the quality on this is very good. A couple things that I love to point out for you here as well. This is 2K quality, but as far as reading license plates themselves, I would say that 3 car length rule totally applies here. Very easy to read if you're within 3 car lengths. Beyond that, it does become a bit of a challenge. I also just appreciate in the on-screen display, there are settings you can adjust, but I have it turned on here to where it is showing the speed at which I'm driving. There is also a setting here that's optional that I did turn on that gives you your actual location based on GPS data, so the latitude and the longitude. So if you really want to dig deep there, go check out those numbers. You can figure out exactly what major city I'm driving through right here. And tell me in the comments if you go and do the research to figure out exactly where I'm located. Generally speaking, I prefer suction cup mounts, but one thing I do really appreciate about the 3M pad mounts, they definitely don't show as much vibration when you're driving and going over bumps. And that totally rings true with this model. And guys, I'm very impressed with this display. Just the size of it, the quality of it, and of course, like most other cameras, you can cycle through either seeing a multi-view or just a view of whichever camera you want to see at any given time on this display. So for the purposes of my testing, I did use the included 64 gigabyte micro SD card. I will say from a capacity perspective, it's not a ton. I would expect you to be able to capture about 5 hours of driving footage with that. Once you do fill it to capacity, it is going to start deleting some of those older video files and replace them with new ones. I totally recommend upgrading to a higher capacity card. One thing I do appreciate about this camera, while it is, yes, only a 2K camera, a lot of the 4K cameras that you may see on the market right now are actually upscaling. So very similar sensors that are inside of this to some of those other ones that are branded as 4K. I actually appreciate the honesty, the clarity, the transparency of it. And from a video quality, as you can see here, guys, it's very comparable to some other cameras that we've tested and better than ones that are definitely marketed as 1080p. And guys, I didn't drive this much at night, but here's some footage where it was actually raining. So you can also see kind of that impact if it's raining on the windshield. I'm also not a person who likes to use my wipers too much, but as you can see here, it does a decent job at night capturing. And also, of course, inside of the car itself, it does have infrared that it does. So you've got that night vision effect. You can see very clearly what's happening inside the vehicle as well. So let's take a look at that price. As you can see right now on Amazon, this camera is listed at $169.99, but it also does at this point in time have a $30 off coupon that you can apply as well. I'll put a link in the description. Go check that out. And yes, those links do help this channel, so definitely check that out. I'm also going to put a link to the Samsung SD card that I use of choice, 128 gig capacity one, if you would like to upgrade it to have a higher storage capacity, more hours of footage that you can record. But guys, my honest review of this is a solid camera from a build quality perspective, from a video quality perspective, from a installation experience, plenty of cabling for me to be able to route this in a way that was hidden and elegant. It also does have the GPS receiver that is attached to the windshield itself as a part of that mount. And I love that very similar to MagSafe experience of being able to remove that camera completely from the dash in a very easy way without having to even unplug cables. Very handy. And also that optional third camera that you can put to the rear of your vehicle as well. I just love that that's an option. Very handy again. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, I'd ask you to consider liking and subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that you're always staying up to date with new content as it's uploaded. But for now, I'm Donnie with TechWinner, helping you make winning decisions when it comes to your dash cams. Happy driving. You guys have a great day.